Hello, this is Andrew from Enabling Progress Conversations around the NDIS. Before we start the podcast, this was recorded Monday, Thursday, 2026 on the Darling Downs. My co-host is Deb Lund, who is an independent support coordinator as well. Now, we do in this content touch on some very sensitive topics, so guys, please be aware that this podcast does talk about the neglect, abuse, exploitation, and even SA of people with a disability. Please, if these are upsetting for you, feel free not to listen. There is plenty of other content for you. If it triggers any emotions, please call the crisis line in your area, and please know that you are valued, you are loved as well. For reference for our international listeners, Monday, Thursday, culturally in Australia, is the Thursday before Good Friday. And thank you, and on with the show.
Yep.
Recording.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, guys.
I think you might need to just bring it up a little bit. Well, there we go.
Hey, guys. Again, we are not a professional.
We're in the park and it's a bit windy.
It is. Welcome to where we are is Darling Downs, Queensland. I won't say any more than that and dox ourselves. But those of you who've been following the channel for a while will know exactly what we were talking about with carnival of flowers and stuff like that. Now, can you believe it's nearly Easter?
Look, I can't believe we've gotten through the first 3 months. It's just been flat out.
And you and I hit pause thinking, oh yeah, we'll get together in February. And we woke up going, why is everyone pranking us online? And realised that it was April.
Oh, it's crazy. It's just, look,
Okay, so
I'm worried
what
about
have
how
you-
fast it's going.
So what have you been doing business-wise, NDIS, and also for our international listeners? Because I've had a few comments going, what the is the NDIS? So it is our care scheme for people with a disability in Australia. And there is a lot of change happening in the NDIS. And look, can I say, as a participant, to participants, it is okay to not know how to feel about the changes.
Yeah.
Just as a
And a lot of people are very worried and rightly so.
And especially with the big three, particularly New South Wales, we aren't affected in Queensland like this, but the corporatisation essentially with NB Thrive and Bupa and stuff like that, like.
Well, it's
choice and control.
National Disability Insurance Scheme, and look, I know for a fact that the NIB Thrive, they're a health insurance.
Yes.
And they had set aside a certain amount of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
In order to plan manage and buy plan management companies, so that they had 50,000 people that they were plan managing. They've also bought a support coordination company, already one that I know of, but and they also, in their ABN listings, they have NIB Navigator.
Yes.
So they're getting prepared to take that on. So, I mean, clearly they know that there's something
in the works.
Yes, and they're big. They're big, so it's going to be really difficult. My concern is that with that is that you become a number.
Yeah, and also and I'm jumping all over the place on you, I'm so sorry, but for those who are suggesting, oh well, when the participant's given the plan, shouldn't it just given to one provider? That is literally describing block funding days.
Yeah.
And it was block funding days.
Well, with block funding, there wasn't the choice. They were kind of like, here you go, such and such has got a vacancy, or such and such has got capacity, this is where you're going. Now you've got that choice, but it's not recommended that one company hold everything, especially in your core with supports, community access. It's really important to have a separation. It keeps them accountable. Staff will cover themselves, they'll cover each other. And they, I'm not saying that there's not staff out there that won't do that, because there's staff out there that won't do it, but then the consequences of that for them generally is they end up getting bullied out of the workplace. And bullying and toxic workplace is really being highlighted at the moment. There's a lot of stuff going on around that at the moment, but and then we look at our government and we see it in there anyway. So I mean, the government is quite a boys' club. But and they do tend to bully people out of the way in order to get what they want, and you'll see that with in companies, disability companies. My concern is that people become cash cows. They become a number. They become how big's your plan? How many hours are we going to get? Some providers won't take you on unless they're going to do 20 hours a week, or they have to have a set amount of hours, or they won't, a minimum of 3-hour shifts and all this kind of stuff. So, be very wary and very, if you're out there and you're looking for another company and you don't have support coordination, you don't have someone there to help you with that, be very wary of companies that will come at you. We know that there's companies out there that are offering financial incentives to hand the value of a plan over to a company. They will, I know one company from another state that's offering $50,000, depending on the size of the plan that they get. They won't do any of the support, of course, but and they'll pass on some money to the participants each fortnight as well. And so they're basically guaranteeing that the participant, if the NDIS Commission were to ring them and say, hey, listen, we've had a report of fraud, is there anything going on? They're pretty much guaranteeing that the participants or the family will say, oh, no, we're fine, we're doing okay. And it's very important to watch all of that.
Now, that leads into something, and it is okay to disagree in Australia. We have freedom of speech, but in freedom of speech, there is not freedom from consequences. I am going to agree to disagree with a few people online here, in that, how do you feel about the YouTubers and stuff exposing the fraud? Because there is actually a legal definition of content creator versus a journalist. And a journalist has a uni-level qualification. They have government-level whistleblower protections. They have know how to legally protect their sources. The reason I am against it is because everyone's like, it should be exposed straight away and stuff like that. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You might, it takes 2 or 3 years to go to the commission. The commission might be building a criminal case. And as soon as it's online, the internet, as I have learnt the hard lesson, the internet is forever. You don't know who's downloaded it, screenshotted it, who's going to use that. Again, going back to the bullying, even as a participant against you.
Or staff against you. They will go, oh, we saw this, we saw that, and she's doing this, and she's doing that, or he's doing this. Be very careful. Don't name names. I know the temptation is there to name and shame, but until they are in the paper, until they are on that list that the NDIS has, that's when you can name and shame them. That's when you can talk about it. Until then, you can talk about it in general terms, but don't name them. No. Because, you could get yourself into really hot water, and you could be held liable for slander and all kinds of things. You could essentially end up in a Friendly Geordie situation. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, so let's agree to disagree on that one online. Guys, we are nearly at 500 subscribers again on YouTube, which is amazing. And so, also, where are you at with the business? And then I'll do what I've been doing offline.
Yeah, the business is pumping along. There's been a lot of we've got quite a few quite complex participants, and we've had a lot of hospital stuff going on. The first, those first couple of months have been crazy. We've got 4 people in hospital. One has just come out, but we're still working with the hospital in and around that. We've still got the second one's come out. He's been in and out of different cells, and there's been a big happening there, but we've finally got him settled. And another one's hoping to come out of hospital today, which would be good. But on top of all that, we've got people moving cells, moving houses, moving SDAs. SDA is a specialised disability accommodation where it's specially built for different levels of disability.
And that is more physical disability, where SIL is psychosocial.
SIL's for everything.
SIL's for everything? Okay, push back on me.
Yeah, SIL's for everything. But once people in wheelchairs and those physical disabilities, Huntington's, Parkinson's, things like that, get to a stage, yes, we do need specialised disability accommodation for them, because we need those wet bathrooms, we need that kind of thing. But still, in general, if we've got people that, even though they're wheelchair bound, they're still able to wait there.
Okay, so ambulatory wheelchair users and mobility aid users?
We can still work with still around that. But, I mean, it's always better to have that nice wet bathroom.
Remind me offline to tell you something I've heard also. Sorry.
Yes.
Now, guys, I have been back at work in my trade. I'm working in the local pharmacy. I'm a level 3 qualified pharmacy assistant, super casually as well, and trying to do bus training, but that is a whole other saga of even trying to get my bus pass.
Yeah.
I need to restrain myself there. And also, can we say that the buses, and also if you saw the address, this will probably go out over Easter, but last night there was the address to the nation from our Prime Minister about the next couple of months ahead. We do not know what he's hinting at, but he was saying about doing public transport. Now, is there someone in the NDIS that will do essentially public transport and bus training? And also, guys,
you can do it with an OT, but you'll find that your support worker, in general, if you're able to go on the buses, the support worker can do that with you and can help you with, as long as you've got that comprehension around those bus timetables and which bus you need to get on. Like, you might need the 9:14 at 10 o'clock to take you into town, and then you need to transfer onto the 10:54 at 11 o'clock or something like that,
And then does that go into your mantle of safety of when you're at that bus interchange, ferry interchange, whatever it is, you get the sneaky cup of coffee for barista will notice? Is that the mantle of safety?
Well, yeah.
And also, guys, long-suffering Bob has bought me one of these. One of our team has suggested it as well, in that it's what they call a surf purse. They're low end. We got this from Silly Solids. It was $3. It's got your thing for your bus purse. It doesn't have any RDF protection, but then for someone who, like Andrea, who leaves a trail.
And that's the important thing. Like, when you do the bus training, it's all about, have you got this, have you got that, make sure you've, don't leave stuff on the bus. Don't leave,
or
this
taxi,
kind of stuff.
Or taxi.
Well, taxis are okay, but the buses, is a whole different thing, because you could be sitting halfway down the bus, the driver hasn't seen that you've left something behind, and you're relying on honest people then.
Exactly. But yeah, there is a lot of good in the world. Let's be aware of it.
Absolutely.
But we have a story up here, and it's quite nice that there is a gentleman with, let's just say, he is well known to community services. He is well protected on LinkedIn, but everyone tracks him. You know who I'm talking about now. And it's kind of like, if we haven't seen him around, we're like, hey, is this person okay?
Yeah.
He is well known to community as well, and he is well looked after, but he chooses to dance around town. And again, he does have his own difficulties, but again, that's that mental of safety of just knowing that he has his own difficulties.
Yeah.
But that's how he chooses to spread joy.
Yeah.
And also now, I have finished my quilting classes as well. And that's a whole other story.
I'll go take this call.
Not a problem, guys. The channel, guys. We're going to make this a second video. We needed to have a break because you and I are both so busy on professional and personal levels at the moment, and we are recording Maundy Thursday. So now we touched on communication. Now I want to drill down into that as well, because communication and disability can be quite complex, especially with non-verbal behaviours and control concern.
Yeah.
And people wanting to control their environment, especially with what's happening politically on the world stage and everything.
And it's not just people with disability that have trouble with communication. I'm finding the younger staff, the younger support workers, because they've come up with the mobile phone generation, they're constantly this. And they don't even look at their phone. Oh, it just amazes me. How do they send messages? They're not even looking at it, and they're sending messages. And I'm like, what the hell? But they don't know how to talk anymore. Sorry, I talk over you all the time.
Well, this is where our producer says that we are a vibe. And I'm like, I'm still processing, are we a good or a bad vibe? But she assures us that we are a very good vibe. That you're of a generation where there was no mobile phones, computers.
Oh, good Lord. I started with a computer in grade 10, and it was the white box with the little green and it was, and the old printer goes
Metric printer.
Oh my God, yes. And you had to feed the paper right, otherwise it was crooked and it peeled itself, and it was like, oh my God. And the old clackety clack. And I find even now I like a clacky keyboard.
You can actually now get keyboards that do that and stuff. I need to do like a wish list. Also now,
so communication, back to communication.
a prime example, and there's a difference between talking and communication. And guys, this also goes back into documentation, and this is why we say to support workers, anyone within the industry, even I, in my personal life, not so much professional but personal life, document as if there is going to be a lawsuit in 5 years' time, because especially in support, nursing, anything community based, it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter around the ethics. And again, because where we are, you have to be very careful. You don't know what outside relationships are happening as well. You don't know like there's always going to be the equivalent of the school gate or whatever.
Yeah. And the mean girls.
And the mean girls and the mean girls and the heathers. And gossip is really like I have seen people, it was not recently, this was about 3 years ago. It got back through 3 people. They were playing telephone. That person was under a protection order, and it put that person at risk. Confidentiality, it's very real.
Yeah.
As well.
You just don't know. You don't know what's in somebody's past, where their journey's been. And it's,
who they have that connections to.
Yeah, exactly.
And the truth has 3 sides. Yours, theirs, and the objective reality. And that one, and then also then again, this comes into how agencies work, independence, what suits you, and this is where choice and control comes in. And we skipped over a choice and control is based on assumed competence. So can you go into what in Australia do we think is assumed competence? And
well, it's able to make your own decisions and to make an informed decision, to be able to understand the pros and cons of a decision or a risk or something that you're looking at doing. And it might be like, I'm going to go snowboarding. Okay, what are the risks involved in that? Are you capable of doing it? If you are, okay, what are the risks? These are the pros and cons. Do we need the ambulance on speed dial? Like, you need to have a plan around those kinds of things. That's going
to be the weirdest incident report.
I know, but and there's just different things. It's like a male participant wanting to go into a sex shop.
Now, this is a really interesting one,
as well,
because I know that this is a conversation online that we're all having. I want to point out that, as we pointed out beforehand, that could also go into PBS, positive behaviour support. It's redirecting behaviours of concern.
Yeah. But is it a behaviour concern? Because,
it could be.
It could be. And that's the thing of knowing your person. Like, they might just have a natural curiosity. Maybe it is more than that. It's about knowing your person. Where have they been? Have they come out of mental health hospital? Have they been, accused of things previously? Is there a reason that, because when you say no, you're creating a restrictive practice. So you need to look at how you manage that. And if it's not in a PBS or they don't have a PBS, it's something that you would ring back to your management team and say, hey, listen, he wants to do this. What do I do for him in this? Do I wait at the door? Do I go in with him? Do I,
wait in the car?
Yeah, what do I do for that? And the thing is too, like, what we have to realise as so-called normal people is that everybody's entitled to
intimacy.
Yeah, and have a relationship. Everyone's entitled to do that.
Yeah.
And it's something that's, I know a lot of families with girls that have disabilities are very, very conscious of that.
Yeah.
And you'll find a lot less girls in SILs than males, because with the boys apparently they think it's easier, but I mean things happen to males as well.
Exactly.
It's not just the women that we have these incidences happen. And as we've seen with the reports, the number of rapes and stuff that happen within, and to women with disabilities. But there's nothing to say either that they shouldn't have a relationship as such. So there's a big difference between someone who feels threatened and uncomfortable in the presence of another person to someone that to them this person is their boyfriend or their girlfriend, and and then it's really up to the people around them to be practical and logical about this. If they are capable of making that decision, if they are capable of going forward and having intercourse, make sure they're safe. Be aware of the risks, be aware of everything, make sure that they're safe.
There's some resources I want to point out. Talking about consent, can we shout out to the guys over at Collective Shout? They actually have a team of consent educators, intimacy coordinators, and again, this is where your mental health safety comes in. Talk to us pharmacy assistants.
Yes,
we can set you up. Talk to the pharmacist about options.
Because quite often people with disabilities are afraid to bring it up. And some of the older support workers are like, nah, that's not happening on my watch. Nah. And it's just something that you've got to be aware of, that you are, if you're doing that, you're stepping on their human rights. And you have to be careful with all of that, because people with disabilities still have human rights. They still have the right to have a relationship. They still have the right to do those things. So, and you've got to be very careful when it comes to that. And communication is a big part of that. How you deal with it, how you talk to them about it, how you discuss the pros and cons. Don't be afraid to discuss sex with them. If that's what they want to talk about, don't be afraid to discuss it with them. But be very logical and practical about it, and write your case notes. For God's sake, write your case notes.
And again, document for the lawyers in 5 years' time.
Yes.
And the other
or
one...
parents will come to you and say, how dare you talk to my son about this? And, well, actually, he brought it up with me because he likes this other girl, and he wanted to discuss it. Whereas I know a lot of support workers will just go, no, I'm not talking about that.
And
it's you've got to. It's communication, and it's having an understanding that as support workers we can be, grocery shoppers and AT assistants. We can be, shower assistants, and help with the dressing and help with the toileting. But we also need to
financiers.
Absolutely.
I had
budgeting, all of that kind of stuff.
Bob
but we also
literally take me to an accountant.
Yeah.
Also, that's an underused resource in the disability community. Yes, you will have to pay for it, but we've got to remember people with disability have come from a lot of different backgrounds. And also, can we point out that the disability community is a minority community that you can join at any point in your lifetime, and it may not even be your fault.
No, my brother-in-law had a major stroke at 67, so he didn't qualify for the NDIS. And I am going to have a little rant here for a second.
Go for it!
I went and visited my sister and brother-in-law on the weekend, and 12 months on, he can stand on a Sarah steady at this stage for up to 2 minutes, which is amazing.
Good.
He said, I don't know, which is, a big thing.
It is, because
otherwise he does a lot of word replacement. I mean, this is a man that worked right up until he was 66. He has a master's degree in HR. You know, he was 2IC for a major company in Australasia for 23 years. He is a very clever, amazing man.
Yeah.
Still got his mind, but because it affected the left side of his brain and basically collapsed the left side of his brain, his right side is working really hard to make it up. But because in Australia we have an aged care system and we have the NDIS, so if you haven't come into the NDIS before you're 65, you go into the aged care system. Now they went from the highest level of aged care, which was $67,000 for the whole year. And I mean, looking at him, I would, as an NDIS support coordinator, I would expect him to have a package, and care level, I would expect him to have a package of $400,000 to $500,000.
Yeah.
He's got $67,000, and then they changed the levels. He went from a level 4, but they didn't automatically put him as a level 8.
Yep.
So they left him as a level 4, and he lost $15,000, and he's now got $43,000 in which to have OTs, physio, speech. My sister does all hoisting, everything.
Oh, wow.
She does everything. They've lost their cleaner, the house cleaner, they've lost the lawn guy.
And sorry guys,
Yeah.
go for it. And can I point out that this is where whole framework becomes so important, because behaviour is a form of communication. Now, I want to be drilled down on something that I have said, and I've got a bit of pushback on it.
Okay.
And, is that your disability is not an excuse to be a-hole. However, what I'm saying now, I need to clarify, is your disability may explain some of the behaviours. It may explain communication as a behaviour, and not all behaviours are acceptable.
That's the unfortunate thing, because
it is a very nuanced conversation, and probably a whole other video as well.
But we're dictated to by society and what's acceptable and what isn't acceptable. Like walking down the street screaming and yelling is not acceptable, but that could be part of that disability. So people will just, general public don't necessarily, it's becoming more onboarded with. People are becoming more and more aware. However, they're going, why are we spending all this money on these people with disabilities?
Oh, well,
this kind of thing. It's like, oh, wow.
Well, a really good ABC article. I'll have to link it down below. And guys, Bob and I are trying to get to the rebrand and consolidating all of our my media presence online and everything.
Yeah.
But again, just being so busy as well. Disability, it's becoming more aware. But the article, I was sent by a friend of mine who is a clinical nurse practitioner. Yeah, Andrea just has weird friends.
No, that's all right. Your friends are your friends. Whoever your friends are, that's okay.
I work in healthcare, so we're all healthcare workers. When we have to go out to dinner, out of courtesy to other patrons, we actually book a private room.
Well, not a lot of people understand the chatter that we
go through.
Talk about sometimes. We don't mention names or anything like that. We don't expose any participants, of course, or companies, but there can be, and hey, look, in your workplace you can have these really extreme stressful incidents, and you can have things that are just so funny, and and we're not laughing at the people with disabilities, we're laughing with you them. Because sometimes you just have to.
There is a guy online who he's in America, because this would be very socially unacceptable. He's a ex-professional caregiver who does stand-up.
Oh, okay.
You know how I'm talking about.
God, you could write a book, couldn't you?
I
could write a couple of books.
Well, but communication is
key.
And this is where it comes back to the whole framework as well. it started in addiction and childcare, but this is where, again, around, especially with all the changes around disability, and do your homework, whether it be family, a trustee, support coordinator, navigator, LAC, do your homework, because your skills and your life stage, it might necessitate a move of your living situation. It might necessitate exiting out of a day centre because that day centre was skills-based work readiness. You might be ADE. And yes, I know ADEs have their own issues and stuff like that, but they are there for a reason.
Yeah.
But this ABC article was explaining that when you have funding used appropriately with ethical agencies and stuff like that, low to medium support needs clients, and we still interchangeably in Australia, it's still very sociably acceptable to use low to medium support needs and higher and lower functioning as well. It is personal choice, because high and low support needs and functioning labels are considered reclamation language. It's reclaiming what was considered a slur and using it in a positive light. And so this is where exiting out of a day centre because you have got that job is going to be celebrated. And different support agencies and even independents work from different frameworks. It might be a religious framework, so it might be Christian, it might be other frameworks, it might be ethics, it might be materialistic ethics. There's a whole other thing. And yes, I've been listening to Dr. Peterson.
But back to communication.
Sorry.
Back to communication, Andrea.
I've had way too much sugar. The Easter Bunny
no
came
more
early.
coffee for you.
No, it's sugar. The Easter Bunny came early.
Oh, I haven't done Easter. I haven't done it the last few years, actually.
Well, again, communication. Communication, family of origin.
I think
do.
I think it's gotten too commercial, so
Easter
I've given up on it.
Easter and Christmas, what you do. It might hurt that in a birthday that your family just gave you a card, but the other person, it might have been a full-on birthday party every year with the presents and the things like that. So that's where communication around how much you're spending. Can I
have that pen? I'm just going to write something because you've just reminded me of something.
Also, guys, no ink and no squish pickles, because I have essentially leveled up on skills. But no, this article was about that when the funding is used correctly, it allows people to thrive and blossom, and that. Yeah.
Can I have squish pickles? I might need to squeeze him every now and then.
Well, versions of squish pickles are at Kmart at the moment. Also for our new viewers.
I still want to talk about communication.
Sorry.
Shush. Let me stop here for a minute. Breathe. Communication as well in all different forms. That was my other thought.
Yes.
Because non-verbal people still communicate with you.
Yes.
You've got to find their way that they communicate. It might be as simple as holding a green card and a red card, or a yes and a no. It might be a bit of Auslan. It could be, toilet, coffee. It could be, different things like that.
Also, within sign language, there might be certain fingers used on a regular that aren't exactly socially acceptable.
Yeah. I find stroke patients are very good with particular language, but I find that and it's about understanding a participant and understanding that they do have different forms of communication, and waiting. Like, if you're going to ask a question, give them time to process. Don't just expect an answer straight off. Like, give them a chance.
And it might not be 5 minutes. It might be the next shift, 24 hours. They might be in a situation where they can't answer that. They might be under a protection order, guardianship.
I'm thinking more. You're going big picture. I'm thinking more the face-to-face stuff, as in,
like, do you want chicken nuggets or fish for dinner?
Yes, that's right. And how you communicate that with that person. Chicken nuggets or fish. geez, you're not eating very well in your house, are you?
Well, okay. However, I'm going to argue the point. I had chicken nuggets and salad, and if putting chicken nuggets on a salad is what's going to make me eat salad, therefore it's healthy.
Okay. So, but and that's the way to give choices is to to show them things. To you need to work out how your person best communicates, and work with that, and give them the time. I think a lot of support workers.
Time, yeah.
It's time. They're used to doing things at their own pace, with their own families. If they've got kids, they're running around in the morning, getting them off to school. I've got to get to work. So they're in that mode.
Yeah.
When they get to
and
their
that
person,
might frustrate a person. That might
well,
trigger
and
them.
frustration brings out those behaviours. I find more than anything, when they're frustrated, that's when you'll get sworn at. That's when you'll get things thrown at you. That's when you'll get all different things happening and behaviours happening, because they're frustrated because they can't get through to you properly what they want. So you need to understand your person. It might take a little while to get used to people.
Yes.
So you've got to give it that time. But when you talk to listen. Don't talk to be heard. Because a lot of people just drive their point, and they, it's like driving a bus over a tennis ball. That's what they do. And it's, they're not waiting to hear that person and listen. You've actually got to stop and listen. And that's something.
I've got to work on.
Me too, because I tend to talk over. But I find, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm a little ADHD. I don't know. Who knows? I'm all over the place. But sometimes I find if I don't get it out, it goes. And I think that's because all my filing cabinets in my head are open.
Now, really good communicators for communication. Can I shout out to them? Sparkly Joe. She's really good. How to ADHD. She's American based. Sparkly Joe is Australian as well. Dr. Jordan Peterson, his 12 Rules for Life. And now I want to touch on Dr. Jordan Peterson and disability. A lot of his pushback is, it's contrite, old school advice, it's 1950s advice. But it works. There's a reason. It might be a bit sexist if you were only speaking to men or women. You're speaking to the entire community. And cleaning your room is skills building.
Yeah.
Aiming at something. And he has recently done a lecture in a podcast to the disability community, explaining that he, as an undergraduate, worked in the Canadian disability institutions. He gets us. And our aiming at something might look very different. It might be going to the day centre, making your own cup of tea. He has done that one. I will link down below as well. But he also says about assume that when you are talking to someone, they have knowledge that you don't know, and that if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
That is true.
And this links back to, growth and skills building, and this is where I've really tried to learn hard lessons that I learned offline last year and put them into my life this year. And oh my god, guess what? It has worked. I'm sleeping better. However, my health is still questionable. However, I live with chronic illnesses, so it always will be a challenge managing it as well. And also now we need to clarify that in Australia there is a difference between disability and health. However,
there is a connection as well.
We are seeing possible connections rolling into one, as in the British system.
It could be very interesting to see in the next, certainly after the next election, but we do have a minister at the moment that handles health, aged care and NDIS. The concern there is that, clearly their government are trying to pull back NDIS funding as much as possible. They're reducing down to 6% the new people that can access the NDIS. So, at one stage it was up to 20% people accessing per year. We've got over 700,000 people on the NDIS at this stage.
However, it's the only economic sector that is growing at the moment, which is an interesting
the
point.
thing is too, they have to realise that for every dollar that they put into the NDIS, it actually within the community actually makes $2.50.
Yeah.
Because of the process, the roll on, like support workers get paid. There's
they
jobs
go and
there.
buy their groceries.
Yeah, they go get their groceries, they get their fuel, they get, they go on holidays, they do whatever they're doing, and it's a roll on effect from that funding that comes in that continues to keep the economy going. So pulling that back too hard is not necessarily a good thing. Not only that, it puts so many participants at risk and at danger because then they're not getting the support that they now need. And it's kind of like, well, okay, you've been diagnosed, you've got that diagnosis, why every 12 months, every 2 years do you need to go through and reassert that you still have that? I mean, it's been diagnosed as a permanent disability. It's not going to go away. It doesn't miraculously fix itself.
And this is one of the frameworks for the NDIS, is you have had to exhaust every treatment option.
Yeah.
Because there might be a treatment option for you that allows you and stuff like that. Also, I'm sorry to cut you off, communication, but also, can we trigger that saying about support workers and personal caregivers, paid caregivers, going on holidays? Again, going back to communication, Open Futures Learning, I think I sent you the link about Dave saying about, please do not say to a client that you are their friend. You are not their friend. Friends in Australia are not paid. No. By saying that they're a friend, you're sending, if you leave, if you get seconded to another shift or whatever and they're expecting you, that's going to set the next support worker up for failure.
It sets them back too, because they think, oh, well, that's the only person that took me to the appointment, so I don't want to go to the appointment without that person. And it is hard. It's a very hard line to drive along as a support worker, though.
It is. And tell me your thoughts on it. My thoughts is, if you become friends with a participant, that's when you need to stop working with that participant.
Oh, I have to stop working with you. Sorry, I'm out.
I didn't think that one through, did I?
Well, I think
but
the thing
is
a
nuanced conversation to have as well.
Yeah.
So, it is a very hard line to work, because you are working with a person who generally is going to be socially isolated.
Yeah.
That's where, for me...
And it's very hard too, because if you are influencing that person, then, what kind of friend are you if you're influencing them or you're disabling them? So, we have, we put him in a wheelchair because it was easier to get out with him. Oh, and then he doesn't want to get out of the wheelchair. It's about...
And it's not about easier, it's about the skills.
Yes.
I have heard, and this is a very, 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 very controversial opinion, I've heard that a good support worker for low support needs clients will do themselves out of the job.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the idea. You capacity build them. And the same with support coordinators. As you go along, you're capacity building them. No, well, you make that phone call. I'll sit with you and I'll help you make that phone call. But you're making the phone call, and I will coach you so that when you need to make the next phone call, you're more comfortable. So that's what that's all about. It's about building that capacity, and that's what the NDIS is hammering. Unfortunately, for a percentage of participants, they are deteriorating on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. They're deteriorating. So, and that's unfortunate. I've lost four people in the time that I've been a support coordinator.
And that's not necessarily anyone's fault. It might be their disability.
It's their disability. That's what I mean. It's the disability that's creating that. So you have to be aware of that too. But then when we get the NDIS, when they're given the next round of OT reports and things, and we're doing a request for more funding because they're deteriorating, and we get that pushback, oh no, according to this and according to that, the NDIS are losing 77% of the tribunal cases, because the member of court is seeing that, okay, well, I've read the reports, but and it's really difficult. I understand we've had the minister say, they've only got 15 minutes per plan. No, that's crap.
Yeah.
These plans are important to people's lives. They need to be looked at properly.
And this is where I say, as a participant, do not read your own reports. Do not read your own reports, but get a copy of them, whether it be electronic, emailed, or paper.
I always send a copy.
In that you have the evidence trail. Again, as a participant with low support needs, it's on me to keep a copy of my reports.
Yeah.
And that's literally what I am going to do. Is do a digital cleanup, going, do I need that email? Do I need that email? And
you never know.
And print, if I do need it, print it out, file it, but clean it off the laptop as well. And again, going back to communication, is that you also need to know that person's intellectual capacity. Don't use big words and expect them to use it if they don't have a uni level education. Know what level of education or capacity they're at.
And ask when you've spoken to them about something. Ask them, do you understand what I mean? And you're not asking them if they're stupid. You're saying, do you understand?
Also, can I ask you a philosophical question that is unique to the daycare, teaching and care community?
Okay.
Why does everyone have a horror story about moldy fruit in the bottom of the day bag?
Oh my God. Squash banana. Oh my God. Yep. Or the lunchbox that's been shoved in the cupboard, and you find it and it's like full of green mould, and you just go, nah, straight in the bin.
And also, guys, I have props. I actually, again, Dr. Jordan Peterson, be prepared for the tasks that you were doing. So, again, that was my first. Also, guys, we have a multi-agency station for emergency services, so police, fires and ambos.
That's why you
away from us.
That's somebody's worst day.
It is. So guys, I have a tote bag that I put my content recording stuff in. It is open. And so I was talking to one of my team and she's like, they generally don't like these type of bags. Can you see why? No zip. Easy to access, people who may not understand boundaries.
Yes.
Type of thing. Where something like this, you can carry, you can throw and change your clothes in. It's all enclosed. You've got your water bottle outside so it doesn't leak as well. And so that's also what
many a water bottle has leaked in a bag.
Right, and that's where I'm also, after the electronic declutter, heading home to do I actually need 3 backpacks where 2 of them, the zips are dead? No. Do I need 3 UFO projects on the go? Put them away, tell my team about them, focus on one, and don't eat so much sugar over Easter.
I'm not going to catch up with you again until the end of next week.
However, again, going back to communications and the way you were brought up and culture and stuff like that, we, in my family of origin, we only buy for the kids. We don't do chocolate, we do small gifts. So for my little person, I got him crayons and felt pens. My mother is making a library bag and a pencil case because we found out that he loves story time down at the local library. Guides, again, low cost idea for your participants. Check out what's on at the library, and they might even have adult general education. And oh crap, we haven't been recording for the past half an hour.
It's on the phone though.
Okay.
How come? Did you touch the...
Yeah, we did. I will see what's on there. we can make this one into
This is still recording.
we can make this into a podcast episode.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, and again, Andrea, so we're doing turning this into a podcast one.
That's okay.
But again, communication and flexibility and stuff like that. But yeah, so for Easter, if you're of a tradition that celebrates, I hope the Easter Bunny finds you. But no, and then
Where
for
did that
my
come from? Why do we have Easter bunnies? Like it's nothing about rabbits. I don't get it.
I don't either.
Is that just a commercial thing that's come out of it? Because I'm sure the religious content of that doesn't have a rabbit in it.
No. And also, that's another thing that, depending on the participant and who they are, do they do the Easter services? Do they do Maundy Thursday? Do they do Lent? Something that you need to be aware of.
Yeah.
And if you're from a tradition that doesn't do it, it might be a great learning opportunity as well. And this is where
It's
doing
great
your
4 days
homework.
off. It's the last 4 days. Well, it's the last long weekend for Queensland.
Yes.
Until
Anzac Day.
well, Anzac Day is on a Saturday.
Yes.
There's no long weekend for us.
And also, for those of you internationally, Anzac Day is our equivalent of Memorial Day.
Yes.
And
It's based around the Anzacs at
Gallipoli. And can I be very, very clear? We do not celebrate war. It is a commemoration and an acknowledgement that the freedoms that we have in Australia are not free.
No.
That there were people who fought for them as well. So guys, also want to shout out to our Patreon members while we've been offline who have still been making the channel and that possible as well. And guys, again, because this one's going out on Spotify and YouTube because Andrea forgot to check the recording.
That's okay.
Hence why we always record on my phone and computer. Yeah, we are still trying to get into the studio, but we have just proven that. And also, can I also mention very contrite advice, and I want your opinion on this one, is a busy participant doesn't have time for behaviours. However, at the same time, they do need that time to relax.
They need
to chill.
That's right, exactly. And you need that safe place, which is generally home. In a SIL situation, I know a lot of participants said there's a lot of running around during the week. We're at day services. We're going on day trips. We're doing this, we're doing that, all over the place all week. Got appointments, doing groceries. There's a lot of stuff that's going on during the week. I'm sure I am so sure participants have more of a social life than I do. But I can guarantee that. But the thing is, they need the downtime, especially autism.
Yes.
People with autism, because when they're in a group and when they're in general community, they have a level of stress that they always carry.
Yes.
In those situations, they go up a level, and that's how they cope. And they might be the funny one, they might be the joker, they might be
The one who weaponises their curiosity.
Yeah, things like that. But they need that time to have downtime. My son at school was the joker, the fun guy to be around, blah, 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 blah. But he would walk 25 minutes to home. And I used to work in daycare, and I used to work around the corner, and I'd knock off sometimes at 2:30, and I'd say, well, okay, do you want me to pick you up on the way home? I can pick you up. No, Mum, I need the walk home. And that was his time to defuse and drop his levels down, and and then when he gets home, he's comfortable.
And also, guys, again, on the weekends, might be family time, it might be church, it might be for our Muslim
to sit
community,
and watch something that they want to watch, or read a book, or just sit.
Or for our Muslim community, please let me know when your holy day is. And I've learned, I got that asking questions and stuff. Like, oh, I'm sorry if this is an ignorant question. And someone went, you're asking a question. It's not ignorant to ask a question or to read a book or because obviously
you're
they
learning, you're
had
asking.
Ramadan and Eid and
exactly.
I was asking. And again, your library, they might have picture books. I have seen the cutest book. It's Wheely, Wheely, W-H-E-L-Y, the wheelchair, and it explains disability for kids, probably about 2 and up, and it's written from the wheelchair's perspective.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's interesting.
And the wheelchair becomes someone's legs, it becomes a rocket ship, it becomes a balloon, a hot air balloon. And also, guys, I really want to do a media literacy episode as well, all levels. But again, with cost of living, library, really great option. Not only books, but content, DVDs,
there's a lot.
Space.
They have different programs that they run in the libraries as well.
I know our local library, the poor educator, with this one, someone in my personal life, and as soon as I say it, you will know who this is. They are doing a how to use your smartphone class for seniors.
Oh, yeah, good.
So things like that. And I know our local library are very community focused, so they are doing resume writing sessions, job application sessions, how to get through the ATS and stuff like that as well. They even have, if you're a member of our local library, there's e-resources, so LinkedIn Learning, and LinkedIn Learning in Australia is accredited. Also, they have documentation for professional caregivers.
Yeah.
So guys, please like, share, subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or YouTube Music, please leave us a review. And also for our new subscribers, just some house rules that agree to disagree, but no swearing. Guys, just be respectful. And what we're saying by respectful is, if you're wanting to comment, let us know. If you're curious about something, I am trying to always put my email address in as well. Nothing wrong with disagreeing, but can we do it politely, because there's enough cruelty and stuff in the world as well.
No trolls. She's saying no trolls, right? I think is that the basics? Oh, well, yeah, I mean, we're happy to hear your opinion and
what care programs you have in your part of the world.
Absolutely, and how things, is there a different perspective? I mean, obviously there's different perspectives, but what's your perspective in and around some of the stuff that we've talked about? I mean, we know that there's amazing support workers out there, and we know that there's support workers that probably should be, mowing lawns.
Well,
but,
I
that's
say
just how
that
it is.
I say that there is no such thing as a bad support worker. However, they may need to be placed in a non-customer facing role.
Well, you know what it is. I really believe training.
Yes.
But in a way, you don't want to be
onboarding.
Yeah.
Don't have onboarding. I have got to stop myself there, but onboarding is so important, and not just 2 buddy shifts.
Yeah, that's right. Because and the thing is, and I think the thing is to do training and onboarding so that they realise that you're passionate about what you're doing. You see the challenge in what you're doing. It's not easy work. It really isn't. It's not having a coffee down at the coffee shop and just sitting there playing on your phone, or maybe you're not playing on your phone. Maybe you're putting your notes in. Maybe you're doing research. You could be doing anything. People judge what they see.
We were talking on our first episode of the podcast when you came on board. You were talking about someone in your life who had a very difficult day with a client. Their reward was going down to the coffee shop, and the little old lady with great intentions said to her, get off the phone. She was actually doing the incident report as well, And so, guys, phones and support work, you don't know whether they're doing notes as they go, whether they're tracking the kilometres, looking up something. Oh, you shouldn't record your participants. That one I totally and utterly agree with.
Yeah.
But again, they might be recording that for onboarding, training, behaviours, occupational therapists.
It could be, like if they're having a meltdown, it could be recorded in relation for what the PBS, the positive behaviour person, needs to see. This is where we're at. This is what we have. This is a meltdown that we're having. How do we, because that they can develop strategies to help you with that. But you've got to be very, very careful. It can only be, you've got to look at your privacy and confidentiality all the time. That always has to be forefront. And you have to, and your participants' dignity, let them have some dignity. Like if other people are standing around watching them, just go, oh, no, it's okay. Please move on. It's okay. I've got this,
And I've seen, and I have great respect for this person when it happened, that someone was having a meltdown, and it was a older lady, obviously had gone to Red Hat Society. She was in the purple and the red hat.
Oh, yeah.
She literally just walked up and had one hand on the trolley of groceries.
Yep.
And so there are still good people in the world. And the other one is recording FND seizures and epileptic seizures as well. But guys, I will do some deep diving research of Easter Bunny and commercialism, because the other teenage person in my life, I've got him a gaming vouchers. He's over 16, by the way. And also, this is something that if your participant is outdoorsy, magnet fishing is perfectly legal in Queensland. However, you do need to have a permit from the Department of Environment and Resources. Do not call it fishing when you're applying. Call it environmental cleanup using magnets on your own time.
Yeah.
Because as soon as they think fishing, they're thinking you're going for barramundi, you're going for trout in the dams, whatever. If you're fishing for scrap metal, totally different ballgame. And I've got some teenagers in my life, a permit
they throw a magnet in?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's perfectly legal in Queensland.
I think it's good to clean up the waterways anyway, regardless.
And that is one of the weirdest Easter presents I've ever given teenagers in my life. A permit to go magnet fishing. They're teenagers willingly getting off the internet.
That's what they're doing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, going back to communication, to be known is to be seen, and to be seen is to be loved. These, I'm a friend of their family, let's just say that.
Yeah.
And that sometimes presents are experiences and time. But guys, have a safe and happy Easter. If you're of a faith that celebrates it, otherwise, let us know what your tradition is. Do you do Maundy Thursday? What for our international, for our American, Czech and European listeners, what do you guys do for Easter as well? Okay, see you guys.
Bye.